So I'm sitting here in a parking lot outside of a theater while my daughter is auditioning for a play. And I meditated for a bit, not knowing how long I'm going to be waiting. My skull. This guy and this guy. And these skulls, I never understood what the draw to skulls was with giving crystals. What's with the crystal skulls? And it has been made clear to me. Crystals, as they form, they hold a really specific geometric shape. And if you were to look at things in terms of vibration, and that matter comes from different densities of vibration, and everything is made of matter, and the color, the shape, the texture, everything we see around us is varying makeups of different frequencies of all of those things, elements in fact, to come together to create a certain density, color, shape, texture, everything. And so things that are like soap, everything is really largely perfect in the way that it is formed on a molecular level. But I think this is such a testament to how much the public education system, or just the education system in general, because I've gone to both public and private, are skewed to teach people with a certain kind of brain chemistry and a certain kind of learning style, and everyone else be damned, because these topics were of no interest to me in any conceivable way during any of my education. All sciences that weren't ambiguous, that could be argued, like psychology, were of no interest to me. And so something like biology or chemistry or anything like that would be like so bored. But if you start reading things that were written before the standardization of those education systems with a certain intention in mind, which was around, let's just say, after World War II, everything changed in the way society ran. And so if you're trying to eliminate certain creative personalities or mindsets or gifts, you would create a structure where those people would not thrive or be interested or have the attention span to even focus on something that was taught in such a dry way that they'd rather jump out of a window than do any of that work. And that would be the math and sciences for me. But at my current age, in my current exploration, I am finding everything makes a lot more sense when you look at it and you can see how these things mirror our own lives. So to break it down, because I would probably be asleep right now. I should have had a better hook of some kind. Everything around us is made of matter in different densities of light. But those perfect molecular forms of things are often, like crystals, are perfect. And if you think about our technology that we have, a lot of the technology that is created needs to have elements that are mined from the earth for them to work properly. Which just tells you how much technology already exists within elements without science messing with it. And so these hold information. And I acknowledge that sounds crazy. I don't care. I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't experienced the downloading of information from one of these larger friends of one of these. As big as like, I don't know, half the size of a bowling ball. When I put my hands on it, my elbow to my wrist started shaking like I was having a seizure. Just like you would see in a movie of someone who's like being activated into superhero powers or some shit. Like, and my left side was all like glacier cold. I felt glacier cold. It didn't to the touch, but the right side was warm. Shit got weird. But the reason is because the skull itself holds a geometry to it that is sacred, that is a mirror of the, how do I say this simply? So a microcosm to the macrocosm. So everything is as above, so below. There's a mirror of everything. In the material realm, we are miniature fractals of the all, or some people would call it God or the universe. We are fractals of that. So if you look at like any vegetable or anything that grows, as it continues to expand, there's a smaller version of the bigger thing that was beneath it, and it just keeps on going into infinity. And we are those fractals of the all, or God, or the universe. And because of that, we hold a certain sacredness to our shape and form that holds information based off of that geometry, because everything holds a different frequency based off of its material shape, elemental makeup, etc. Where it gets really interesting for me, and again, just like throw away everything you learned from school. Just do your own searching if you're so inclined. If you don't really have an interest in it, then it's not the right thing for you, but find someone who has done the work, and if they resonate, listen to what they have to say. Maybe it will ignite something for you. Elements are all kind of on this spectrum of perfected or imbalanced, and they're very volatile maybe, and others can come into contact with any other element and they're going to be fine. Those are like inert gases. They don't react to stuff. They're just like cool. And that's really a mirror of people who don't have any triggers anymore, you know? But there are other elements that are just kind of like fragile, and they'll react to fucking everything. And that could be like sulfur. It's very reactionary to most things. It can't just like vibe with something that's enlightened. It will react to it. It needs to be at something that's a lower frequency, like it is. And everything around us is like that. Same is attracted to same. If someone is in a marriage and one of the people in that marriage gets sober, they both have a drinking problem. One gets sober, the other one keeps drinking. They don't resonate anymore because one is ascending and changing and the other one is not. So they are in conflict and they don't know why. They love each other. They're at a different frequency. They're elements that no longer blend with each other. The reason alchemists historically were so dead set on finding a way to make gold out of lead is allegory. And some didn't know it was an allegory, so they just kind of killed themselves by playing with mercury in their little caves and basements and shit. But it's allegory to take lead, which is the most dense material that is made from matter and light frequency, and the element lead is so heavy, and to turn it into gold is allegory for the sorcerer's stone, the eternal life, the purified element. And for us to do that, we don't just jump from lead to gold. We have to go through a process of transmutation and change that's like one step after another step after another step. And what people get really hung up on is that they want to be further along than they are. And you can't do that. You can't skip steps. But like anybody's saying, it's about the journey, not the destination. The fun part is there's no actual destination. This goes on forever, this growth process. But each part of it's really, really cool and really interesting. And I have a point. There have been a million times I've picked up a crystal skull and I've been like, there's not shit to this. What the hell are people talking about? They'd be crazy, right? But it's not like that for me anymore. And it's because I match a vibrational frequency of being able to receive information from a source that is fairly pure. Because I've cleared out a lot of my own density, and that's shadow work. So when you're talking about lead, it's heavy, it's darkness, it's associated with Saturn. Saturn is often associated with time, which is everything stretched out. Like they say, everything is happening all the time, all at once, whatever. It is, but we experience it differently because it's stretched out because of time, which is density, which is lead, which slows everything down. And so in order for us to experience a lighter state of being, to match other light states of being and matter at that vibration, we have to alchemize ourselves to receive that information. Now, I acknowledge I have been very fortunate for someone who's had a lot of darkness in my life. I say fortunate because after just a tremendous amount of suffering in shadow, my spontaneous Kundalini awakening healed so much of me without much conscious work at that point. It was just like something pressed start after Kundalini, and it just goes, you know. It just goes. Whether you're buckled in or not, it's gonna go. And it did. But it purges out the darkness. You can't be in a state of enlightenment if you are living in old traumas. That's a density. So you have to clear out the density to receive high vibrational information. Most people who think that crystals are bullshit, most people who think that meditation is impossible, most people that think that the unseen doesn't exist, it's because they are not at that frequency, and that's okay. But what is real is not just what we see with our eyeballs. The reason I'm able to get information from this skull is because my palms have a crown chakra. Everything on our body has a chakra system, and our palm is the crown chakra, which like here is our communication with the divine and a high vibration in the material. And so when that's closed, people aren't able to feel what some people refer to as the Holy Spirit, or get chills, feel connected to the unseen, feel kind of like tingly blessings coming from somewhere. They may not even know where. Maybe they only feel it when they're listening to certain music, and that is a crown tingle situation. When it's fully open and you have a constant flow of light running through your body like you're a circuit, because we are the most incredible technology that is. When it's running through without any blockages, there is nothing that can stop the flow of information infinitely. You are able to access things that most people can't even dream of if you are cleared of the density, and that includes in this palm. And so when I hold this, it's holding codes and frequencies of information, and my palm is open to receive that information. And so as I'm doing this with the skull, it's basically like putting a thumb drive into the USB in a computer, me being the computer, and I am able to see the information it's storing perfectly. It doesn't get distorted, because it's stored in perfect geometry in this matter, in this high vibrational matter. And it's like having key codes. So you have a key and you have a lock, and you can go through a million different keys and it won't open the lock until it's the right one. And that's what this is. It's matching your frequency to the frequency of what you're trying to receive. If you do not have that same frequency, you cannot receive it. And that is not an insult to anybody. That is just stating how it works. Like, everything's vibration. So if you want to receive something, you have to get yourself to the vibration of that thing. And this, it sounds very much like law of attraction when that went wild in like 2005, but that's not what this is. A lot of that got twisted because it never really talked about how you have to come from a non-egoic place. The whole thing was promoted based off of getting rich and getting the partner you want and stuff like that. It was very simplistic and it was very egoic. It was just not, it was not from a pure place. So you can't receive something that's high vibration if you're not at a high vibration. You just can't. It's just gonna run you in circles. So you have to purge your darkness. You have to purge your darkness to receive. And that was the key, was that you can't come at it from a place. You can't go into fluidity and perfection when you're weighed down with lead. So that's what shadow work is. Not that your goal is to receive codes from a skull, but that's just simply why it works. Maybe instead you want to have a little bit more ease and grace in your interpersonal relationships, or maybe you want to heal a relationship. Maybe you want to be able to understand how to garden and you don't know why all your plants keep dying. Try to get to the vibration and commune with the plants you're trying to grow, and then you'll be able to figure out what you're doing wrong, because the plants will tell you. It's all about getting to the vibration you want to be to receive the thing you're trying to receive. And what's so interesting about that is that once you're clear, you can get information from anything, because everything is made out of light. Everything is made out of density. That's what creates the matter that we see all around us. So if you are an open channel, you can communicate with the codes and frequencies in any element around you. And they all talk. They're all very, very vocal and very intensive in their vibration, some more than others. If you're just starting out, just going near a tree and putting your hands on it, as much as it sounds strange, and I have felt strange touching a tree and being like, who's gonna look at me and think I'm a crazy ass motherfucker for reaching out and touching this tree? No, they're very strong. And even if you're not totally dense free, you're gonna feel a difference if you come at it with a pure heart. So all of this is to simply talk about and open up the potential of understanding that every bit of education you've received around things that may not have made sense to you, it's actually very, very simple. When you get down to everything you see with your eyeballs is matter. Matter is made of light. Light can come in infinite different frequencies, and elements come from that. And the mixture of those elements create different shapes, colors, densities around you. So everything everywhere is vibration, because light is vibration. And if you want to understand something, if you want to unlock keys, or you want to be the key to unlock locks, you just need to be the frequency of the thing you're trying to receive. And that information is available to you, and it's just mind-blowing. This stuff that I have learned from this crystal in that sacred shape of the skull that we have, because we are microcosms of the all macrocosm. We have access to that knowledge, but no one taught us we did. And so I would recommend, I mean, I know there's a lot to take in. If you want to learn more about this, like Nikola Tesla said, everything is about vibration. Look into the law of vibration. See what you find. It's a rabbit hole. Once you know, you can't unknow.